Ladies and gentlemen, I seek your consideration and vote to reanimate the mortal remains of John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, from his slumbers in City Road Chapel, close to the place where Margaret Thatcher was wed. Predictable and nepotistic, I hear on the lips of some as I bring his name, but lay light such negative connotations, and hear why this sometimes cranky, crusty and cantankerous individual may be at home in the State's chamber. He cut through the myopic ecclesiastical stew of 18th century England like a hot knife through a tub of flora. We need people of energy and verve, and he had it. For 52 years he rode his horse, averaging 4 hours a day, 7 days a week, riding 250,000 miles, and that alone would lessen the island's greenhouse gas emissions. It might include methane increase. Let me address two specific areas of island electoral interest. Later, fiscal income, but first, health. In 1747, he wrote a handy book entitled Primitive Physic. The book is a list of ailments and their corresponding cures listed in priority. The emphasis is on those things that are accessible. So we have honey as a cure for bee stings, and then delightfully he says, try holding a puppy against the stomach as a cure for stomach pains. We find nettles, cinnamon, prunes, lemonade and licorice. He had a belief that cold water baths were a panacea for all ailments. For baldness, he advocated rubbing a cut onion into the follically challenged parts of the anatomy. Quackest, you may say, but in 18th century England, when the vast majority lived under the horror of no health care, he did what he could, and when he opened the Foundry Chapel and got hold of rudimentary medicine, he gave it free of charge. All this, of course, by instinct, was for him to make primary health care accessible and available to everyone, so that the vulnerable, economic, perhaps children and the elderly, have access to primary health care without fear of the cost. Second, fiscal income, an Enlightenment model of holding and sharing capital. His maxim was this: gain all you can, save all you can, give all you can. In 1731, his accounts show that he gained £30 and it cost 28 to live. He gave away 2. Second year it doubled, and subsequently, because of his huge, energetic entrepreneurial spirit writing books, it increased dramatically to £1,400. He continued to live on £28 a year. This so baffled the tax commissioners that in 1776 they wrote to him, insisting that a man of his income must have more silver dishes than he's paid excise on. He wrote back, I have 2 silver spoons at London and 2 at Bristol. That is all the plate I have, and at present I shall not buy any more while those around me want rent. He died in 1791 at the age of 87. The only money mentioned in his will were the coins found in his pockets and his dresser. Nearly all was given away, and his body was carried by 6 poor men, each of which were given 1 guinea. He embodied, therefore, both an entrepreneurial spirit that generated wealth, but also a spirit of asset distribution that ensured that the 4 L's, the last, the least, the lost, and the loveless, should be included within the orbit of society's benefits. And he might, if you were to elect him, remind this country that the United Nations, I believe, GDP allocation to international aid is 0.7, and Jersey currently gives 0.2. And when you consider the amount of money that is generated through international trade, might that be a fair and equal distribution? In conclusion, vote for Wesley and you're going to find a convicted politician and church leader, but don't let that put you off. He's a man who delivered accessible primary health care, an entrepreneur who could generate wealth, a man of integrity who ensured the distribution of it to all. So let the catchy phrase be placed on the placards of the roundabouts. Vote for Wesley, half an onion, 2 silver spoons, get on your horse and vote for John Wesley.